is a Pacific Express Company piece of paper. I'm not too sure exactly what it is.
Actually, my friend, what you have there is a piece of recycling history, and I've never seen anything quite like it, because this is an 1890s equivalent of putting out your recycling bins every week to be picked up. You see, by the 1890s when this label was put out, the express companies like Wells Fargo or American Express or this company, Pacific Express, had moved away from carrying mail that had been taken over by the federal government and actually acted more like freight companies. And the Pacific Express Company operated mostly west of the Mississippi, supplying small rural communities with goods that weren't served by general freight lines. It says right there on the label, it pays the return charges to ship an empty egg crate, beer keg, case of beer or pop bottles, or a butter tub or bucket, back to the original sender. But they threw in a catch right there at the end, saying the label was only good if the original item had actually been shipped on the Pacific Express line. And that's why it has this big black mark at the lower left-hand corner of this label, because it's acting as a canceling device the same way a postmark would on a postage stamp. You see, when these items would originally be shipped out, they would slap these labels on every single item in that train car or on that wagon, and then, in order to make sure that they knew that that label originated on that box or barrel or keg or whatever the case may be, they would have somebody walk around with a can of paint or a brush and cancel each one of those stamps, tying that specific label to that specific box or tub. And so in order to ship it back, you had to have that cancel on it showing that it had already been shipped one way, and you would just jot the name of whoever had sent it to you, and back to them that original packaging would go so they could reuse it and resend it out to you again. And it's an amazing piece of early packaging and recycling history, but my follower actually wanted to know the value too. Now, I wasn't able to locate an identical label, but I do buy Pacific Express Company items. Here's a couple from my collection, a money order envelope along with a postcard showing the receipt of some goods. So I'm familiar with the prices that this type of ephemera brings. And in my experience, in this kind of condition, because it's in really rough condition with that central crease, obvious soiling, and chips out all the way around the edges, that this item would probably be worth somewhere around that $50 to $75 range. So picking it up at $20, you did pretty well for yourself, my friend, and have a great piece of history.